So right now, I'm just going to have a little chat and conversation with Melinda about what's going on and what's happening in her world and her business, etc. She's, as you know, a couple of years ago, had decided that she wanted to have a baby, she wanted to get married, and she wanted to buy a new house. Right, Melinda? Wasn't that the plan?
That was 2 years ago, yep.
2 years, that was 2017 and
Yep.
beginning of 18, correct?
Right.
Right, okay. And congratulations, you got married. You have an awesome wife. You got a beautiful baby. I don't, where'd the baby go?
He's with the nanny.
With the nanny now? Okay, someplace else. Well, we'll see the baby a little bit later.
Yep.
And number 3, she got really, really close to her goal of earning $1 million that year. But she failed. It just came up a little bit short. She ended up, instead of $1 million, at $970,000. So, you know, she's working on getting it right this year. You know, when you screw up, right?
Trying this year. That's the goal.
No, you're doing a terrific job with that, being focused, and you're not letting the things get in the way. But you know, let's talk about what's going on. I mean, you have a new baby, you have a crazy economy. You know, you're working, trying to, you know, against all this crazy stuff. You know, let's talk about that. So first of all, in the last, let's say, since the first of the year, or whatever, I'm not quite sure what the numbers you pulled together is. Tell me your numbers so far right now.
So far this year, I have 17 closed transactions, 6 listings taken, 12 listings sold, and 8 buyer-controlled sales.
And 8 buyer-controlled sales. Got it. And let's say over the last, well, not even 30 days, since the 1st of March, do you have those numbers?
This month, I have 4 closed so far, 3 listings sold. Actually, that might be a little bit off, but 2 buyer sales and 2 price reductions.
Good. Excellent. Any listings taken this month so far?
This month, I think I have 1 listing taken this month so far, but I have a couple other hot leads that I'm working on closing aggressively right now.
Great. Perfect. So how is let's focus on the last 30 days, because certainly the first 2 months you have momentum, you're crushing it, your closings in the first 3 months are almost 3 times what they were in the first 3 months of last year. But what the issue is, so the first 2 months were pretty terrific. The question is, what happens now in the 3rd month and going forward with all the different things that are happening? So give us some ideas of some changes and things that are happening for you right now.
Well, one of the things that we were implementing even before all of this was happening is we were looking carefully at what was eating up a lot of our time. And one of those things was repair negotiations while we were under contract. So we've implemented with all of our sellers doing a full inspection report, getting a termite report, and everything done up front so that all of that's listed in MLS, the disclosures, everything. And then that way we can give all of that to the potential buyers, and with all of our counter offers that we say the property is being sold as is, no repairs, no negotiations, no credits, this is the way it is and that's it. So it eliminates a lot of our time and hassle while we're under contract.
So the negotiating back and forth is eliminated. You're putting in the time up front. Who's paying for those reports?
The seller.
The seller. So you have a presentation with the seller and you go through that, and we'll come back to, you know, how you do that in just a little bit, but the seller's doing that. That's great. Excellent. So you saved time there. What else? How else did that change what you're doing?
Well, it makes it a lot less stressful for the seller. They're not as worried about coming back. We had a couple situations where we thought there was something, the seller had told us, oh, we had a new sewer line. Well, we found out while we were in inspections that that was not the case. They meant a water line, but they told us sewer line.
Ouch.
So, you know, things like that, or they told us that they had an air conditioning system when they didn't. So this also helps us eliminate those kinds of issues because we have all the information when we're putting it live into the multiple listing service.
Yeah.
So, you know, it helps us make sure that all the information is accurate and reduces our liability so that I don't feel tempted to give up some of my commission because we made a mistake and putting
Right.
information in.
Right. Got it. Okay. So now the conversation now is you're doing the listing presentation. Did you do the last one virtually?
Yeah, the last one I just did, we did via Zoom, and in this particular case, it was his mother's house that he was starting the process on. So originally we were going to go meet there, but then we both kind of agreed that it was better to just do an initial presentation over Zoom, and we went through everything, and I tweaked the script a little bit to, instead of, because I haven't seen the house, he described it to me. But especially I find with people who are older, they tend to be overly generous on the condition. So I said that, I said, based on these photos, is your mom's house better or worse than this one? And made it a question because, again, I haven't seen the house yet. So he said, well, this one's pretty close to what my mom's house looked like. Okay, great. So now I know what this looks like and it gives me a better idea. And he's telling me right then and there that his house, that the house that they're trying to sell is similar to that one.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Good stuff. Excellent. So, how else is your life changing right now, or the different things that you're doing with this market? How about working with buyers?
So, and again, this is something we were implementing before, but even more so now. But last year, we had a number of buyers that we had spent a fair amount of time with that, for whatever reason, ended up, their landlord sold them the property. Something happened where they ended up buying something without our services, even though they had committed verbally to working with us and everything else. So we have a new rule that we are not allowed to show property, period, the end, unless we have a buyer broker agreement signed.
Okay, got it.
And especially right now, if I'm going to go out into the world or do something with somebody or spend time with them, and when my time is so limited, or even Carrie's time is so limited, that if we're going to make that extra effort to set up a showing, we want to know that they're 100% committed. And that includes my sellers who are looking at buying property, because I almost got caught about that one recently too.
Yeah, we just talked about that yesterday.
Yep.
So kind of what I hear you're saying is you're working with people with a buyer broker agreement, so that makes them probably a have to buy in this world, correct?
Right.
And you're working with the seller where you're getting them to do all the inspections up front. At least that's the conversation. So it kind of feels that's a have to sell, correct?
Right.
Okay, got it. All right, good. And when you're, so you have, most of your business comes from past client sphere, expires, where do you get it from?
Most of it's past client and sphere.
Okay. And how many contacts, how many people do you call a day or a week? How do you line that out?
Usually about 100 to 125 contacts a week.
Okay. And most of those or all of those are past client and sphere right now?
I would say 80% are past client and sphere.
Okay.
I do get some online leads that come in, Zap, things like that. I have a couple referrals. Yesterday I got a couple referrals from some other Mike Ferry agents. So a little bit of everything. I called a couple of for sale by owners because I have a client who is looking for sale by owners like that, and they're not showing the property right now. But I'm trying to see if perhaps I can get in. Maybe they'll let me come do a video or something for my people, and then take that back to my people and show it to them. And if they can be the only ones making a bid on that, let's put a deal together.
So you're doing that with clients that are looking to maybe do something. And do you do that with for sale by owners also?
Well, in this particular case, this for sale by owner is something that would work for one of my buyers that I
Okay,
have a buyer broker agreement with. So
got
I
it.
know that I'm going to get paid, whether the for sale by owner pays me or my client pays me. So I can go in and look at this property, take a video. If it's a good fit, great, I can sell it to these buyers. If not, I can always close them for a listing later or now, or whatever is appropriate for this particular person.
Melinda, I mean, you sound like you're running a business.
Yes.
It sounds like you're running a business. How long did it take you? I mean, you didn't wake up one morning and say, okay, I'm now a business. This is a process, correct?
17 years.
17 years. So it's not overnight. And it's a little bit of trial and error, and it's a little bit of problems and things like that that come along the way. Have you ever experienced a market or something like we're running into now? Has there ever been any, like, were you there at 9/11?
I wasn't in business for 9/11. I was still in my theater business back then. But I was here for 2007. So, and in 2007, if you didn't price it 30,000 below whatever the last one just sold for, they would get under contract with you, cancel, and move on to the next property that was $30,000 less. So, we were losing value so fast then, and more properties were coming in the market every day. So just making those adjustments quickly. I think we got the email from the Pacific West Association of Realtors on Friday that said we couldn't show property. I sent it to you 5 minutes later, freaking out. By Saturday morning, I'd calm down and go, okay, well, these are my opportunities. Where can I, tweak this? How can I take advantage of this situation? Because I know a lot of other people are going to have that same freak out effect, but theirs is going to last much longer. So how can I take advantage of that right now?
So when you freak out for a short period of time.
Right.
Okay. And then you call me.
Right.
and then we deal with it and we put you back on track, correct?
Right. Exactly.
Because it's way too expensive to have you off work for a day.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so how are you handling showings right now? You actually, do you show property anymore, or do you have your buyer's agent? How's that working for you?
Robert's shaking his head because it's only supposed to be my buyer's agent. And she is normally the one who's doing it right now. She has a cold right now, so she is not going to be going out in the world. So I will be showing property later today. But with that being said, there are some people who are not allowing showings. So they're sending us some of them are sending us virtual tours. Again, I'm asking them, hey, if I just go to the property myself, would it be okay if I took a video and did that if they don't have a virtual tour ready? I have one client who is 80, they're both 85, and they're buying in Leisure World. So we're going to go basically see which ones fit what their criteria is, and then tell them, hey, this one I think is the best one. You should write an offer on this one.
Okay.
We have other people that I'm showing later today where basically I'm going to go in, I have gloves. I'm going to take my gloves. I'm going to go open the doors for them, let them walk around the house, see the house, tell them not to touch anything, and, give them gloves if they can fit in mine, and then lock up the house afterwards. So there are some people who are still allowing showings, but really you have to call each individual house and see which ones are and which ones aren't.
Okay.
And some of those people were telling our clients that they may need to write an offer subject to inspection, because some people aren't showing and we might be able to just get in.
Right. Okay. All right. What's your morning routine like? I mean, is it, first of all, is it are you doing things different today? So you're working virtually, you're at home, you used to go to the office all the time. How's that morning routine working differently for you? Because you're still focused, you're still doing deals, you're opening escrows, you're closing escrows.
Um, it's more or less the same. The only thing that's really reduced is that I'm not driving back and forth to the office. So, I got up this morning, went for a walk, took the baby out for a walk with me, went to, sat down, did the meeting in the morning. I had a conference called 11. I got off, did that, came back, but I still have my lead cards, still have all my stuff here. So I'm just sitting here making my calls.
That's awesome. Fantastic. By the way, you know what the neat thing is right now? We're at 75 people on this meeting.
Woo-hoo.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
Just the way we're doing business today is fantastic, and I appreciate this. This is very good. So let's see. Let's talk about your scripts. Let's talk about your calling your past client and sphere. And that was a big conversation that we've had for the last couple of days. What do we say? How do we say it? What are you doing with your past client and sphere right now?
Mostly I'm calling, checking in, and we're saying, hey, just want to check in, see how you're doing. How is this affecting you right now? Are you affected? Are you working? Are you not working? And, is there anything we can assist you with? Like I talked to my printer this morning, and he said that he had $30 of sales last week. And they were really struggling because a lot of their business is real estate agents and restaurants, and all the
Wow.
restaurants are closed.
Wow.
So for him, he's really suffering. And I've been looking for a way to get out the word. So, I said, well, how about some hand sanitizer? Do you have some? So, he's got some in stock that they can print on, and we can drop those off to some of the people in the neighborhood. And, we can just think a little bit more creatively. That's not something that I would normally do. But in this particular case, I think it would go over really well with being able to provide.
Well, you're going to help. You're going to help somebody and help yourself at the same time. That's not a bad combination.
Right.
Yeah. Very, very good. Excellent.
Yeah.
So that was a past client. So we talked this week also about you talking to your non-owner occupieds and things like that. How are you approaching them?
A lot of them are freaking out right now because they're hearing things on social media or the news that there's eviction moratoriums and that tenants don't have to pay their rent. And so I'm having conversations with them, educating about what the facts are about it, that no tenants don't just have blanket leave to not pay their rent, that they do have the ability to work with the tenants to come up with a repayment plan based on their income, having them understand that even if they are laid off, that they could get an unemployment check, but it may take 2 or 3 weeks. So give them some support and help them understand what that looks like. And once they get back to work, then they can start to recoup those costs.
Got it. Okay. Good.
And also that they have the ability to question what I'm saying to my past clients in Center of Influence when I'm calling. It's basically just checking in with them, seeing how they're doing, how they're being affected, and if there's anything we can do to help them.
Got it. Perfect. And so on the with regards to the non-owner occupieds, you're talking about the tenant relief and what are the rules there. There was something that I had come across earlier because we were sharing the Stephen Thomas report with people, which is a great report that I think that you should be able to share when you have the conversation. Do you have when you talk to the non-owner occupieds, Melinda, do you have the link for the reports you're referring to so you can send to them immediately? Is that on your computer to send out right away?
Yes, I have a summary of what the rules are with the apartment association, so I can send that out to them.
Got it. Good. I came across something else today. We were talking about mortgage relief. So just another idea on that, if you want to talk to your clients and they're having trouble with making their house payments, there are going to be some mortgage relief bills. It's not going to be a free lunch or a free pass, but they are talking about that. There's just a point of information out there. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do to ensure March ends up strong and April comes out like a roar for yourself? What are you going to do?
I'm going to continue prospecting, keep reaching out to my clients, keep setting appointments, and keep encouraging people that if they want to make this happen right now, it's actually a great time. Buyers have nothing else to do. Assuming that they're working, they have nothing else to do in their free time. So they actually have time to see properties, and that they have time to do stuff. And I think that we may see, I'm talking to other agents in other states where their states are deeming real estate as an essential service. And I'm really hopeful that that will be the case on this end, and that people will take the appropriate precautions to show property, but still be allowed to show property, so that we can continue our activity and keep moving forward.
Great, good. Question, do you mind taking a few questions?
Sure.
Great. So if you have a question, please.
I see one. Are you taking any active listing going on the market now, and how? Yes, I would take an active listing right now. The how is I'm actually meeting the seller over the weekend, and we're going to go into the property and take photos, at least just with mine right now, and do a video walkthrough with my phone, and then we can get the professional person in there to take the photos as well.
Got it. Got it. What can you say to your clients to sign the buyer broker agreement?
So one of the things, we have an appointment to do a consultation. So when I do that consultation, I tell them that it's going to really help me understand what they're looking for, because we look at properties that are off market and on the market. Because a lot of buyers think, oh, well, I can just go online and find anything that's available. So they do that consultation with us at the end, because it's all question based, I find next home. They say yes. I say, okay, great. All we need to do is sign it.
How many presentations do you think you and your buyer's agent make to get one signed, or what's the percentages?
I would say 80% of the buyer consultations we do, they sign a contract.
Okay. Okay. And you've practiced this before. You didn't start one day without practice, correct?
No. In fact, I didn't used to use buyer broker contracts for a long time, because if I sat down and did that consultation with people, typically speaking, they would go out and buy with this within a week or two. So I didn't used to use them, but with the market being so tight and people look desperate for any opportunity to get a place, we stopped that practice, and that's where we got people to do the buyer broker agreements.
Got it. Okay.
And I don't do them for a long time. Right now, I'm doing them for 3 months because of the market conditions, but typically speaking, I only do them for maybe 2 months at the most.
Okay. Okay. Appreciate it. There's something wrong with the communication here, and this is just great stuff, but I want to try to get this fixed so we can maybe do this again, and maybe you can come on and do a quick buyer broker agreement demonstration and some of the other things. But you've done an absolutely spectacular job. The proof is in the pudding. I was going over her numbers with her just earlier, and closings, and I had already gotten her approval to say this. Her closings year to date are almost $350,000 year to date.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty awesome. But more importantly, I want to compare it to last year. Last year, the first month she had closed something, second month she closed nothing, third month she closed something. The total for the 2 months of closings, and we still have another week left to go, was last year was $100,000. So right now she's almost 3 times where, well, more than 3 times where she was, and has tremendous momentum. So we appreciate you. We appreciate you being part of the team and helping us with different things here. And it's a win-win. And so I want to thank you very much. And everybody just give her a big giant thank you. Good job, Melinda.